close your eyes. Imagine yourself in a room. No one's there but you. There's no windows. There's no doors. There's one light source, and it's right above you. You're in a chair, just sitting there. Now imagine that you have this incessant need to talk to someone. You're alone. You need someone to talk to. So you reach in your pocket. There's your phone. Good, you can call someone. And then your phone disappears. And you start to panic, but you're okay. Then your chair disappears. And you're on the floor. And the panic increases. Then your light disappears. And everything's black. And the panic increases. Then out of nowhere, in this room where no one else is, suddenly you're barraged by sounds. First really loud, then really soft, but they're always constant. You start to scream to make the sound stop, but nothing comes from your vocal cords. All it is silence. You have no way to defend yourself, no way to stop it, and no one to run to. While you're there, you try with the last bit of effort that you have to scream. And you manage to get a sound out, and all you hear is stop. Open your eyes. Welcome to the world of domestic violence. 1 in 4 women every day go through this. Women are 4 times more likely to be beaten, 6 times more likely to be shoved up against something or slammed into the ground, and 9 times more likely to be choked or strangled. In our county alone, 4 out of 5 women go through this on a daily basis. 3 out of 5 women are raped and don't report it. Some people took the research even a little farther, and worldwide, every 9 seconds, a woman is abused. So what is domestic violence? When you think of domestic violence, what do you think of? You see a bruise, did someone hit you? You see a broken bone, did someone hurt you? But is that as far as the extent of abuse goes? And are there other forms of it? What forms can you think of? Anybody, just off the top of their head.
All kinds.
Go ahead.
Death.
Death,
Verbal,
abuse,
Physical
abuse,
Mental.
mental abuse,
spiritual.
spiritually abuse someone.
It's all kinds of physical violence that domestic violence, I guess, would be the proper word to use.
The main 6 forms of domestic violence are verbal, physical, mental, emotional, financial, and sexual. And a lot of times, it's not just one. If you're in an abusive relationship or you're the victim of domestic violence, a lot of times you've experienced either 3 or more of these at the same time every day, no matter who you are. So let's see how much you know about the battering side of it, or the abuser side of it. What do you think causes an abuser to abuse?
Growing up in the situation that they see it every day as a child.
So viewing abuse as a child?
Being abused as a child.
Being abused as a child? What are the other reasons that a batterer would batter someone? Or an abuser would abuse someone?
Not knowing how to deal with frustrations with
appropriately.
So an anger issue?
The need
Control.
to feel. I was going to say the need to feel powerful.
Yeah,
And
superior.
Power and
Superiority.
control? Superiority? We have this nifty little thing called a power and control wheel. And in the power and control wheel, there's a lot of what you mentioned. And it all circles around the hub of power and control. The reason a batterer or an abuser does abuse somebody is because they need that power and control or want to gain that power and control over an individual. And he can use intimidation to do that, coercion, manipulation. If you don't do this for me, I'm going to make sure you never see your kids again. It's manipulating. Doing sexual favors so that she can get what she needs. It's all there. And a lot of people say that it's an anger issue. Well, he was just out of control. And this is where the problem starts, because that is us as social people condoning the behavior and giving the offender an excuse. No, it's not because he's out of control. It's not because he's in a rage. It's not because he blacked out and he doesn't remember. It's because he wants that power and control over that individual. And this is why it's so dangerous, because when abused people start to leave that relationship and go out and try and get away, 9/10 of the time, the abuse becomes worse. Domestic violence victims account for 10% of America's homicides because their abuser killed them before they could leave, or while they were trying to leave, because the abuse escalates. Police officers, friends, family, who put themselves in that experience where they're trying to help them escape, put themselves in danger. There's been 5 cops killed in our county alone because the abuser killed them while they were trying to help the person being abused escape. And this violence isn't just on women. Men can be abused by a female partner or in a male partnership. They can be abused. But 80% out of all reports of abuse, the male is the perpetrator. And a lot of the problem, according to research, is that we as a society condone this behavior. When a girl gets raped, our first response is, well, you shouldn't have been out at the club by yourself. No. Well, you shouldn't have wore that dress because that just made them get more involved. No. That's victim blaming. It's not her fault. It's not this man's fault that he was abused every day. It's not this child's fault that they were abused every day. It's not their fault. They didn't do anything. We need to focus the blame on the offender and make sure that he's accountable or she's accountable or they are accountable for their actions, not the victim. So what can you do to help? Raise awareness. If you think you have a friend who's being abused or someone who's being abused, talk to them. And they're probably not going to want to talk to you about it, because that brings in the whole thing about, you know, what if he hurts me? What if he hurts you? I'm bringing more people into the picture. I don't want to put you in harm's way. Here, you can take my kids. I know he's going to be upset tonight, but I'm not going to tell you why or what happened, because they want to get everybody out of harm's way. So they're probably not going to talk to you at first. But you reaching out and showing that support, that you're there for them, that you're not judging them, that is what they need. And if they do happen to open up to you about it, tell them there's a 24-hour hotline that they can call anytime, any day. There's numerous support groups in communities and numerous shelters in communities that can help them get the help they need to get away and do it safely. There's organizations, nonprofit organizations that donate their whole time to these occurrences. If you have a friend who you think is being abusive to their girlfriend, their wife, their child, bring it up to them. Why did you really have to do that? Why are you so upset? All she did was this. Let them know that it's not okay and you don't view it as okay, that you as a person don't condone that behavior. And they're probably going to get angry. It's none of your business. Stay out of it. We hear so much, don't hang your dirty laundry outside. But that doesn't give the person the right to treat a victim the way they're being treated. So let me introduce you to a couple. Beth and Andrew. Got married right out of high school. Happy as can be. The first kid comes along and they're fine. Yeah, he's touched her a couple of times. He's pushed her a couple of times, but she's okay. The baby's okay. They're good. So one day he comes home from work and he's upset. And she says something that just ticked him off. And he slaps her. And she goes across the room. The next day he comes home and hands her keys to a brand new car. I'm sorry, baby, it won't happen again. 10 years later, 2 kids later, he's got a job. They really need to get her into work. And he says, no, you can't work. You're supposed to stay at home. She refuses and goes out and puts in applications behind his back and actually gets a call back for a really promising job. So he rapes her that night. And she gets pregnant. Now she can't work. And she's not going to report it because he said that his friend, the lawyer, and his friend, the judge, won't ever let her see her kids again. So life goes on. Now he beats her every night. She's got to have supper on the table, and if she doesn't, God hopes she gets the kids out of the house before something happens. Kids are in high school. Kids are in college. Kids leave. She's 60 years old. Good health. Nothing's wrong with her. He's 75. Starting to teeter on the edge of elderliness. And still every day. No, he might not hit her. You can't do anything right. You're stupid. You're not smart enough to do this. Man, I wish our kids, when they were growing up, had a decent mother. It's still abuse. And it doesn't stop. And that's if they get that far. A lot of times the sad reality is they end up dead. So can I take you back to that room? That room where you were all alone and the panic was so high and you screamed stop because you couldn't reach out to anybody? There can be a window in that room. You can get your phone back. You can get your voice back. All you have to do is speak up. Don't let the silence kill you. Speak up for domestic violence and realize that you're a survivor. You're not a victim. Thank you.